Welcome to the Women Who AI podcast, the show where bold women come to the front row. I'm your host, Kelley Tenny, founder of Women Who AI, and every week I'm bringing you real conversations with the women who are building, automating, and making history in the AI space. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women Who AI podcast. Kelley Tenny here, your host, and today I am here with Mamie Lamby, who is the co-partner, I believe, of Convergence Collective AI, which is an amazing AI community that really does so many things inside of it. So today we're going to have a candid conversation about AI and most importantly about the role that women are playing in AI. So Mamie, welcome.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, Kelley. AI? Oh my gosh, that's a topic at every table I've been at lately.
Yes. It is a topic, and you bring some. Well, first of all, let's just start with this. Tell me a little bit about Convergence Collective and what the initiative is behind that business.
Absolutely. With Convergent Collective, we really are keeping the human in the AI because we really do believe that, in our explorations through Denver Startup Week and some of the other foundational opportunities we've had to talk, even with AI out there, Kelley, there's still fear. There is still fear about what AI is doing. And so we really have taken the stand that AI is a tool. AI should not be making decisions for
Right.
leaders out there. AI should not be doing things without the guidance
Mhm.
of the human behind it. And then, of course, making sure that we never lose that humanization behind AI. For me, that's priceless. And then also understanding with Convergence, the stand that we've taken is humans always first, and that AI is always used as a tool. And we like to dip our feet in when it comes to governance also because we need to know what's happening. And there's got to be some sort of guidance around it because it could take off, Kelley, and you know what it is. It's happening so quickly
Yeah.
that it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Yeah. So let me ask you, I love that. And I feel like we've seen you've been in the AI space a long time. I think you're one of the early adopters, even that you were working behind the scenes, exploring behind the scenes. And one of the things that I think we've seen in the evolution of AI, let's just start with when ChatGPT became mainstream,
Mm,
even though we know AI has been around way longer than that.
yeah.
But for the common user, that was kind of the emergence of AI. We've gone from this um just mass integration, mass usage of AI.
Mhm.
And, everybody was just using it and producing content. And then we went around to where certain people started talking about authenticity and transparency and maintaining the human touch and things like that. And now we're almost on the other end where if you are not trying to be authentic and maintaining the human touch, you're on the naughty list, right? So like we're really seeing, I think, a lowered tolerance for people who are not putting exactly what you're saying first and foremost. So where have you seen that shift in conversation? Because I know Convergent Collective AI, and I just know all of the tools that you've been creating behind the scenes. And you were one of our first speakers at one of the early Women Who AI summits. You guys have a lot of tools that you use that help people do amazing things, from writing songs to books and helping them develop signature talks, all of which we know should be something that is human first, right? Human generated first. Where have
Mhm.
you seen the trend in that conversation around using AI to produce content versus using AI to help your human asset accelerate the development or the creativity.
You know, Kelly, I can see the opposite ends of the spectrum happening right now. You know, I worked with several clients who they used AI to write their book. Guess what they didn't do, Kelly? They didn't take the responsibility to read what they produced. And guess what happened? AI that they released in a book became the topic of that's my IP.
Mm,
So when you're using AI, you've got to take some sort of responsibility because yes, AI can go out there and quickly do things, but the responsibility still lies with that human
mm,
behind the AI.
mm,
And so, unfortunately, that person or persons are now facing a lawsuit because they didn't check. They didn't do fact checks. They just generated it and went on their way.
wow.
So that's happening fast, though,
Yeah.
because people don't realize that, yes, that information highway has been in training for so many years, right?
Mm,
Now, the other end of the spectrum is now, I know for us at Convergence Collective, we make sure that the first class, just like the class I just went through with you, Kelly, there's due diligence that we have to do.
mm,
Just because we're able to quickly produce something doesn't mean we can produce it and mass print it out and give it to someone else.
mhm,
And so there's that balance that we have to find.
mm,
And this is where that human side has to have those checkpoints in place. And what we're seeing is when people tell us they're in fear, Kelly, they're in fear because there are several things that are in common. Well, who's seen my work? Where do I start? Uh, Is somebody else going to see what I do? And are they going to steal my IP?
mm,
Well, those are things that you need to understand the basics
yeah,
because, yes, if you don't know how to put parameters around your information, then you're training AI,
yeah,
and it is out there, out in that internet highway kind of thing,
yeah,
I say,
yeah,
right? So, you know, I just wrote an article too. It's that guardian architect, and the perspective that I wrote in that article that appeared in LinkedIn is the fact that humans need to take those checkpoints, and they need to actually make sure that they are stopping and making sure what is being shared with the public as your own
yeah,
is truly yours
yeah,
and not belonging to someone else. So I think there is still opposites. And this is where the human needs to be the one in the middle because what comes in is yours. What goes out, you need to also make sure is yours and not copied by somebody else.
mhm.
So, or from someone else. So
So
there's a lot.
what are some of the best practices that you guys teach or that you speak to help solve some of those pain points? It's always baffling. I shouldn't say that. Let me like retract that. I'm always just surprised at the number of
Yeah.
people who use AI that don't know that there are parameters that you can set, that don't think that I spoke last week at an AI summit and I said something about fact checking.
Mm,
And then I was like, what are your nuggets? And someone was like, I didn't know that AI can put out facts that aren't true. Right?
oh,
And so I know, and
mhm,
that's great, and I'm like, kudos for admitting that because there
mhm,
probably are more people that won't admit that, but are just like, "Oh, shoot, like, I didn't think about that." But it's very surprising to me that people don't like, that's not the first place that they start to wonder, like, "Is
mhm,
this true? What's it doing with my information?" And I think that there's some kind of missing. I don't know if, like, proactive is the right word, but, like, I
mhm,
don't see a lot of users coming in with caution if you will. And
I
so
agree.
why do you think that is? Like, where do you think that comes from?
You know, I think a lot of people who are getting into AI are so fascinated with it.
Okay.
And I was just at a women's workshop. There were like 48 women there, and they did not realize that what they were sharing with their AI, that they should have put parameters over it.
Mhm.
They shouldn't be using personal information, let alone social security numbers, birth dates, anything that someone on the dark side of the web could be picking up
Mhm.
to then steal identities. Yes, guys out there, there it is. Possibilities for that. And I just saw it happen over the past 2 weeks. And so be very careful about that. Understand what your AI or your LLM, your large language model is doing, where it goes, who gets to see them, and put those parameters in place so that at least you have a peace of mind. And every single LLM has those data security sets, so I would highly recommend that you actually do that before you start. So that's one of the tips that we give our people who are starting AI with us. The secondary thing that we feel very important about, Kelly, is your ID. Who are you? And if you want your AI to sound like you, then guess what? You got to train your AI to do that. And so the second thing that we do besides the security measures, understanding what each of the LLMs that you're interacting with does, where it goes, basic information, majority of the people are not even that don't even know what that is,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
The second thing is we do help our all of our clients. They have what we do identity maps for them. And so what that means is we take a look at, who are they? What do you stand for? What are your value sets? How do you want to be seen and heard in your writing? We put together that guide map so that when they do any type of writing, and like you said, we do songs, we do books, we do workbooks. The gamut always starts with who that person is. And so that ensures that the voice of any of our clients is already prevalent
Mhm.
because they have a map for their LLMs to refer back to. And that's how their voice stays with whatever they do. And, for me, one example, Kelly, is this. So I have an intro song that I use when I do a workshop or I get up on stage. And I personally wrote those lyrics. I did have AI help me so that it could help me do a rhythm and rhyme it. But
Mhm.
everything that was on that song is a reflection of over 40 plus years of my work. Then we married it with music and, of course, the singer.
Mhm.
And this was the test, Kelly. I asked my kids hey, can you listen to the song? Tell me what you think about it. And they're listening to it. They go, whoa, this is a pretty awesome tune, Mom. And then they hear Mamie Lamley by your side. And they're like, did they just mention Mamie? That's you, Mom.
Mhm.
And then as the lyrics goes on, they go, oh my God, that's what you've been telling us for 30 years. That is what we mean by the humanistic voice of our own still in our work. And that was just a small piece. It was a song that I get to play. And people who have known me for many years actually listen to it, Kelly, and they say, oh my God, I remember you telling me that. That's your words. That is the difference between letting AI write a song for me and having AI help me to elevate the song that is me. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah,
Mhm.
it does. And, when it comes to this I mean, for me, maintaining that is within integrity. right? I just really, and this is my own personal, and I'm sure people will argue or have another point of view. Like, part of using AI with integrity is that the content does come from you, right? It is not generating a song with AI. Sure, that's fun and really neat, but I don't think that's within integrity to be able to say, I wrote this song. Now, if you're doing it for
Yes.
some other reason, or it's some random backup song that's going to be an intro to a video, like maybe, right? But when
Mhm.
we're talking about like actually writing songs, and the same is true for books, the same is true for courses, the same is true for signature talks, right? Is having that human at the core of it. Where do you think, like, in terms of percentage, what would you say is the percent of human in content that you guys strive for, um, when writing songs and creating? Would you say it's 50-50? I mean, we always heard about the 80-20 rule. Like,
Mhm.
80% of the content can be AI, and then 20 of it should be yours. But to me, I would argue whether or not that means it has the human I mean, 20% human, I don't feel like is a human touch. So, like, where do you weigh in on that component?
You know, because we start with an identity map,
Mhm,
it entails knowing their values, what they stand on, and their intentions. When we write a song,
mhm,
it's based on the information we gather from interviews. And so it's not something like, "Oh, make up a song for Mamie." No. What's your work? What are you known for? What are some of the things that if someone was listening to this song would tell them, "Oh, that's Mamie because
mhm.
she coached me and I know her words."
Yeah.
Now that for us is what we mean by, and I would say we're not 50-50. I would say because we take the time to invest in who we work with,
Mhm,
I'd say it's not that 80% AI and 20% them. I think it's a reverse for us because everything we do stems from that client that we're working with. And so when people do listen or they do their signature talk or their book,
mhm,
it's their words.
mhm,
You know what AI does for them? It enhances it. It does a fact check. And yes, AI can make a mistake. So make sure if you're quoting something, you quote properly, you cite properly. And I'm going to tell you, Kelly, when I was writing um, my newsletter,
mhm.
I cited, I cited, I cited IBM. And I'm going to say this intuition comes in for me because when I cited it, I said, "Oh, that doesn't look like the article I was reading."
Okay.
And so I went in and checked it. And thank God I did, Kelly, because I had the wrong article. It was an article I referred to from IBM. But guess what? It was the wrong article. And if I had actually put that out, I
Yep.
could have been in trouble.
Yeah.
So, and that was my past article I wrote on Monday. And I said, thank goodness I actually checked my facts. And I don't just use AI. I have other tools that I use to make sure that when I'm quoting or in my writing, that's the other thing we teach our clients. When you write, use other tools. So I like to use Grammarly
Mhm,
because Grammarly will cite if my writing looks like it's been AI generated. And you know what happened one day, Kelly?
mm.
I got cited for generative AI, and it was quoting something I had written in a book.
Oh, wow.
So it's happening so quickly,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm,
That tells me that I need to make sure that everything that I put out, if it belongs to someone, I have to give that person credit.
mhm,
If it's not my idea, cite it.
mhm,
That's your responsibility. That's what keeps whatever you're doing human.
mhm.
And that's the additional steps that we take at Convergence Collective. to make sure that when we say it's your voice, Kelley,
Mhm.
we've taken what is yours and then surrounded it with other information that supports what you do. So I would say that in our case, our human to AI, we go higher on that percentage scale because we never start with AI, we start with the person. And that is what I believe. As you start to get involved with AI, please make sure you know who your voice is, what it's saying, and if your facts aren't yours, then cite it and fact check it.
Mhm.
Because yeah, it's not as bad. I don't know if you would agree with this, Kelley. Hallucinations
Mhm.
happen in
Mhm.
AI. However, because of the use of AI, I believe hallucinations are getting a little smaller
Yeah.
in that aspect, but you
Yeah.
still have to
Yeah.
check.
I do believe that. And I do believe with all of the added components of being able to give it documents and files, build knowledge bases and things like that,
Yes.
I think it's less likely to have to hallucinate. It was really
Mhm.
fascinating. I was listening to a podcast the other day. I can't remember which one. And one of the things that was said was that the current LLMs and models are actually created to give average results or less than average results to those that are not training it first.
Mm,
So the reasoning behind that is probably something we could talk about forever. Like, why would that be? But
mhm.
I think that because it is slowly starting to become best practices that you do give it something, probably not as extensive as what you're talking about because you are committed to human first, but like, here's my blog, here's some emails, here's a right, that AI doesn't have to make up as much as it used to
Mm,
because
I
it is
agree.
starting with more information. So I
Mhm.
would definitely agree with you on that. I'm curious with your clients and your audience, uh, in just your whole mission and message around human first. Do you find that more women are tend to be attracted to that concept of human first, or do you feel like it's about even?
You know, I would say I have to still lean towards women.
Okay.
And and it shows in we do workshops on a weekly basis, and the attendance is more women than men at this time.
Mhm.
And what we are finding though is the men who are attending some of the seminars that we're doing, Kelley, they are looking for that avenue of how can I ensure that it's coming, it's my voice and not just well, of course, the men said the robot. It's not the robot doing it or
Sure.
that bot thing, right?
Yeah.
And so the men that have come to our seminars, very fascinating. They say, "This is fascinating. I've never heard AI spoken about this way."
Mhm.
Because we do make sure that they do understand, there's a difference between mindset and heart set.
Mhm.
And that's the part that we cannot teach yet AI to incorporate.
Right.
And so, a lot of times, even before AI came out, Dr. Eric Goodman and I, we made sure that anything that we did encompassed some of the modalities that we've been trained on, things like neuroscience, personality science, uh, NLP. And then for us, one of the other favorites we have is one of our friends, J.W. Wilson, has the learning code. And what this is all of those modalities capture that heart
Mhm.
that we cannot put into AI unless we're training it. And so
Mhm.
a lot of the things that come out from what we produce, there is EQ, there is empathy because we build it from value sets up.
Mm. Mhm.
And so when people listen to the songs that we've helped them write, it brings people to tears. If we hadn't incorporated a humanistic side of it, we wouldn't have been able to accomplish that.
Yeah.
Okay, Kelly?
Yeah.
And so, and it's because we get to bring and recreate that memory sometimes
Mm.
of what people experienced when they worked with that person or that client that we worked
Mhm.
with. And that's the part I believe AI will not be able to capture because those are the personal stories. I call it Mamie-isms. So
Mhm.
it'll be Kelley-isms that we introduce that our AI can't pick up unless we
Yeah.
really truly train it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So for anybody who wants to check out more about your work or things like that, where can people follow you?
Oh, easy. Just go to AI,
Okay.
and that'll be the threshold to so many different things. And if you visit us there, you'll have an opportunity to join our AI Nation and get access to some of our human-centered tools that we offer, complimentary to those businesses just getting started, or for those businesses that want to take their AI experience to the next level.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and I love that because I really think what you guys are doing is going to be the next round of AI that people are calling for. I think in a world where AI content is being mass generated, that it is going the people that are thinking human first, and leading with human first, their content is going to be the content that rises up from the noise of the sea of everybody else who isn't doing that. So really important work that you're doing there. And everyone, Mamie Lamley, go follow her. She is leading the charge on human first AI, which I believe in 6 months, that's going to be what people are calling for. And that is going to be exactly what sets out the authentic, the honest, and the human centered AI users from everyone else. So,
Mhm.
Mamie, thanks so much for being on here with us today.
Great to be here, Kelly. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for joining us. We will see you on the next episode of the Women Who AI podcast. That's a wrap on today's episode of the Women Who AI podcast. If this conversation gave you something, a spark, a strategy, or just the reminder that you belong in this space, share it with a woman in your life who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already, subscribe wherever you listen, leave us a review, and most importantly, come find us inside the Women Who AI community. I'm Kelley Tenny, and I'll see you in the front row.